Welcome. My name is Dennis DeLoach. I want to welcome you to podcast episode number 21. And we're calling this Haters, Why You Should Love Them. And I know that's a hard thing to do. So we're going to talk about haters and who they are and what they do and how you should use those to your advantage. Again, welcome to the Uncle Jim Effect podcast. Again, my name is Dennis DeLoach. And I want to thank you so much for the tremendous success we've had. I want to let you know that we are on Apple Podcast now and Spotify. Please go there and check those out. Subscribe to them, listen to them, and share with your family and friends. If you would subscribe down below, leave a comment. If you'd like to email us, and we've been getting your emails, it's at Deloach, DELOACH, podcast at gmail.com. Let's get started. So I want to talk about, first of all, haters and where this came from. As I'm a NFL fan and watch a little bit of the games, but if any of you have seen any games lately, and this is in 2023, 2024, I've been introduced to Taylor Swift. I should say the concept of Taylor Swift. Never met her. Not sure that I need to. But the Taylor Swift phenomenon, as I've come to find out, a pretty talented young lady. By young, I mean in her early 30s. I think she has over 533 million people that follow her in some form or fashion on social media. To my best calculations, that's about one out of every, about every 16, 14 people in the world follow her on some form or fashion. So I guess I'm one of the few that don't. Uh, She is a billionaire with a B. She is an unbelievable entertainer. She's dating the Kansas City Chiefs tight end, Travis Kelce, who himself is a phenomenal football player. And as I was watching one of the games, they started playing one of her songs, and one of the lines on there caught my attention. It says, "Haters gonna hate," and that hit me of what that concept is. If you've had any success in life, if you've pursued anything off of the normal path that others think you should be on, if you've tried to stretch beyond what others think are your limits, if you've tried to do anything out of the ordinary or to be extraordinary, if you've ever decided to shun the group or your friends or your level of income or achievement to try to become something greater, uh, you have found out what a hater is. And a hater is someone who, unfortunately, spends their time and energy and effort to look for those people who are trying to do the things we just talked about to better yourself, to stretch beyond your limits, to realize your God given potential, to serve those around you. And for whatever reason, they are choosing to hate and to go online or to in front of your face or behind your back. Mainly it's behind your back. They're usually cowards, but basically they're trying to hate what that it is that you're trying to accomplish. Now, mind you, they're not doing anything in their own right other than attacking you. I saw this quote that Joel Osteen said, and anybody who's had a good mother in their life, which includes all of us, has heard something to this effect. In other words, but Joel Osteen says, if you cannot be positive, then at least be quiet. And how true is that? I think most of our moms have said, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say something at all. But I like how Joel Osteen says, if you cannot be positive, then at least be quiet. So if you can't support what someone else is doing, be quiet, get out of the way, let them do their thing. And we're going to talk in a minute about how do we use haters to continue to work towards what we achieve. In my mind, what haters think, do, act, or say absolutely means nothing. It's easier for me to say that because I'm not on social media, but I've run into that even with this podcast. So, how do we get fuel from that? How do we do these things? So, I want to talk about a concept in psychology that's known as projection. Projection. And often individuals project their own feelings, thoughts, motivations, or desires onto us or onto others. And in the case of those who spread negativity, or in our specific case, the haters we're talking about, they're typically or usually projecting their own insecurities, fears, frustrations, hate, misery onto those of us who are the target of their hate. So again, it's projection. Typically, what they're saying about their targets are exactly what they're full of. Usually, it's hate, jealousy, wanting people to fail because they've failed in their lives. And as long as you look at it in that light, that typically, if you're doing something and it's drawing no attention anywhere, you're probably not living to that 10x goal or that 10x life we've talked about in the past. If you don't have people saying, "Whoa, that's I don't, you can't do that," or that's out of your line or limits. You haven't done that before. Wow, I don't know if you have the talent, the time, the money for that. If you're not drawing that type of attention, generally speaking, you are not living enough in the fast lane or in that 10x lifestyle. So I want to talk about how do we ignore the haters or others. Before I do, we're at our home in Florida. Unfortunately, we come down here in January to get away from the cold. It was 31 degrees this morning. These are palm trees here behind me. Sorry, I'm trying to see. There's a nice big water facility fountain out behind us. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. That's just the ADHD I have, but it's a beautiful little scene behind us. Thanks to my wife, she said you ought to film it up here. I had some comments before that it looked like I was in a closet downstairs, and so anyway, the bookshelf we have is in our Utah home. We'll be back there in a while, but I love it out here. Anyway, let's get back to the haters. So we've come up with some ways to help. How you ignore haters, how you use haters as fuel, and how you kind of take everything we can to move forward to accomplish goals we have. And, when we're living a 10X lifestyle, we need everything we can do, every benefit we can get to get us catapulted to those goals. So, the first thing we want to start with is, and how do we ignore haters, is number one, is just live your life. You are absolutely not going to please everybody. Don't even try. We've talked about this a lot, that you need to step back, get in a quiet place. This is a one-on-one with yourself interview that you have, which is, what is my purpose? What excites me? What is it I want? What 10x goal do I have in life that I've always wanted to accomplish that I've been afraid to do? And then what is that goal? And what it's got to be scary and it's got to be uncomfortable. That is what you focus on. So live your life, ignore them. And again, don't try to please everybody. This is the life you get. Live it to your fullest. And you do that by listening to that voice inside of your head that says, this is the purpose. This is your God-given potential. This is what excites you. This is your passion, and then get after it. Second thing we do is use them as fuel. Use haters as fuel. Again, as I said a minute ago, you must be doing something right to draw attention for people to take their precious time in life to comment about how you suck or how you're doing things that aren't good. 99% of these people don't even know you, and yet they're taking their valuable energy to tell you how what you're pursuing isn't good. Generally speaking, that means you're on the right track. If you've got these haters that are hiding behind some screen somewhere, they're usually cowards and hiding in their own hate. Typically, that means that they're projecting onto you their shortcomings, and so you must be on the right track. The third thing that we want to talk about on how you ignore haters is like that song that Taylor Swift said that got me interested in this topic, is that haters are going to hate. This is what they do. They don't do anything positive. They're not creating momentum in life. They're not creating anything positive. They are trying to attack you to make themselves feel better. How terrible is that? Sean Covey, who I believe is the grandson of the great Stephen R. Covey, who passed away, said, "Isn't it kind of silly to think that tearing someone else down builds you up?" Isn't that crazy? So they spend their life tearing people down, and that's supposed to build them up or to build their name. Most of them hide behind a fake name. They're not even proud to have their own name out there. And I just had a thought. I'm excited about this, but this type of podcast or thought process, I wonder how many haters it's going to bring into this equation and how many negative things they're going to say. So I have a couple of things to say. 3 words, or as Joe Biden would say, 2 words: bring it on. Okay. So the fourth step on how do we ignore haters is feel gratitude for the position you're in. Isn't it amazing how one of the positive aspects we have in anything in our life is to always feel gratitude? The position we're in versus where they're at should be what our heart is full of gratitude, because and I mean this with all due sincerity, we literally could be them, and our whole life could be based on not what I stand for, but who can I attack. And that really is a sad position to be in. And so I guess be grateful and thankful that you're not in their position, that you are actually looking forward, looking ahead. How do I create my own, realize my God given potential? How am I trying to serve others instead of how can I attack him or her? The fifth thing that I've found that is going to be a tremendous asset, has been in my life as we try to ignore the haters, is to live through example. The law of reciprocity says what you put out, you get back. So if all you're putting out into this universe is hate, that's what you're going to get back, and that's what they get back. None of them feel good about themselves at night when they lay their head down that they've attacked other people. They might feel good that they got over on one, hiding behind a fake name as a coward behind a screen, but generally speaking, they don't feel that good about themselves. The world's going to give back to you what you put out into it. So if you're always striving to put out good things and building up your life to create service for others and make lives better for other people, that's generally what's going to come back to you. And so I think it's just important. That saying, karma is a you know what, is true. And so if that's all you're putting out into the world is hate and misery, guess what's coming back at you? It's that. And then finally, the sixth step that we like to implement when we're talking about how do we ignore haters is to just fully understand that age old saying that misery loves company. People that are miserable want to drag other people down with them, and they see that you're not miserable and they're just trying to drag you down. And somehow, some way that makes them feel better. So, all of this said, generally speaking, as you progress towards your 10x life, your 10x goal, you need to first and foremost live your life. Know in a quiet spot what it is exactly that you stand for. And remember, you're not going to please everybody. Second, use haters as fuel. If you are starting to get attention and energy from people that you don't know, have never met, or even those that you know and meet that are family and friends that are saying, you can't do that, I wouldn't do it, just realize you're probably onto something if you're drawing that kind of attention. Third thing is, again, that Taylor Swift song, haters are going to hate. This is what they do, right? This is what they do. Fourth, maybe the most important, is to literally in your heart feel gratitude that you are who you are and in the position you are and not in their position. You have something to fight for, something that excites you, something that gets you up in the morning, instead of what gets you up is trying to find someone you can hate that's trying to live their best life. Fifth thing is to live through example. The law of reciprocity says what you put out into the universe, what you try to do for others is what you're going to get in return. If you're putting out, if your product is hate, then that's what's coming right back at you. And finally, just fully understand misery loves company. Lots of times we try to fit into a nice, neat box what it is these people do, how do they tick, when unfortunately misery loves company. You can't explain it. They're miserable. They want other people to be miserable like themselves, and that's all they're going to do. So I hope that's helped a little bit. Unfortunately, in this social media driven world, people can hide behind these screens. They can have fake names, fake pictures, and they absolutely uh, do nothing but hate. In the old days, if you did this, you at least had to do it to their face, or you could do it, people would do it behind your back, but then you'd hear about it and you could at least confront them. Nowadays, they're hiding behind it, and that's why these cowards seem to be empowered. A couple other quotes that I love that I saw here, and this one's by Dale Carnegie. And I love this quote. It says, "Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most do." Isn't that true? Any fool can criticize, complain, and condemn, and most of them do. And that's why I've always wanted to do a podcast. I found myself critiquing other people doing it. I thought, you're a coward. They're out doing it. Like Theodore Roosevelt said, the man in the arena. They're out there doing it and getting dusty and beat up and bloody, and I'm standing on the sideline talking about how they're not performing. And I used to hate that way back in the time when I was playing football in college, and even after I was done, as you'd hear people talking about that, and I thought people don't realize that haven't been in the arena on whatever level that is, whether it's business, whether it's performing in a highly competitive race in college athletics, professional sports, whatever it is. We're all kind of Monday morning armchair quarterbacks where we talk about, oh, this guy's no good. Well, that guy's probably in the top 1/10 of 1% of anyone that's ever played the game, if you know their name or are watching them on TV. And so we just need to take that into context. And so I got into this to do this because I found myself doing it, and I always wanted. And I thought, if you step up and quit being a coward yourself, put your money where your mouth is. And that's why I've dove in. And it's a lot tougher than it looks. It's been phenomenal. And I've realized some tremendous growth opportunities and blessings that I never thought I would see. I've had so many wonderful people tell me that it's been a minor impact in their life, and that means the world to me. Again, our purpose in this is to create opportunities for over 1 million people to realize their God-given potential, and then to magnify that God-given potential in the service of their family, friends, and neighbors. And also, as we do that, to create a tremendous tsunami of hope that we can flood the world with. We can change the world. That's our goal, one person at a time. And even if you only change yourself, what a tremendous gift that is to those around you and to the world. Again, thank you so much. Uh, this has been a lot of fun. I hope it means something to you. Please share with your family and friends. Subscribe below, like, go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and do the same there. Thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Have a great one, and haters are going to hate. Let them hate.